Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Confidence Mindset with Amanda. So I just wanted to make a quick video about not listening to anyone else's opinions but your own, because opinions are not fact. Everybody who is up online talking about manifestation, and myself included, we are all just talking from our own journeys and from our own experiences, and what way I have experienced things is going to be different from what you have experienced things, and I'm still on the journey, and sometimes it can take a little longer for me to manifest something that may take quicker for you, or vice versa. And so when we go online and we listen to other people's opinions, we have to understand that they're not fact for us, because we are all creating our own individual story. And sometimes when we get into conscious manifesting, I think we get into this kind of false perception that because we know about manifesting now, that we can change things in our reality through our thought. I think we get into this false perception that everything has to be done straight away, and if it's not done straight away, then we are looking at time, we're looking at the 3D for validation, and because we're not getting the validation then straight away, we start to feel a little defeated, maybe a little demotivated, especially when we go online and we watch other people's success stories, perhaps saying that they affirmed a few times and got what they wanted, or they listened to a subliminal for a minute and they got what they wanted. And there's so much out there about different stories about how people have affirmed non-stop and got what they wanted, but it's not always the case for everybody. Everybody's journey is different, and we're all manifesting particular desires to ourselves. And so somebody's opinion about how they manifested something straight away is going to be, it's a fact for them, but it may not be a fact for us. And yes, we manifest things, well, I myself anyway can manifest things in quicker, for some things quicker. I mean, other things take longer, and even when I'm manifesting some things that take longer, I'm only human, and so yeah, it can take there's a little bit of frustration sometimes as well too. And you do tend to look at the 3D, and you do tend to have these human moments where you're looking to validation, but this is where our mindset comes in, and we remind ourselves that we only have the present moment, and that time is an illusion, because we only have the present moment. We're literally only in the present moment. So there's no past, there's no future, there's only right now. And so these are the affirmations then that we remind ourselves that we're doing good and everything is going according to the way that we are affirming, because everything is always working in our favor. And sometimes I know when we go on and there's loads of things up there, but even with dating advice and stuff like that as well, but we always have to understand that nothing is a fact. All of us, myself included, and anyone else who is up there, even on dating advice or whatever, are all just opinions of how they have learned everything through their life, what they have studied, how they have studied, and how they have. Remember, we're taking everything in on our own way of being, our mindset, our perception. So somebody could study something in some way, and I could study the same thing, but I could take it in a different way that they may take it in. And so we will both have different opinions about how that particular thing was studied. So who's fact, who's real? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So we never have to take on anyone else's opinions about anything, because it's not real. The only real opinion we have is the one that we have of ourselves, the one that we know, the desires that we know that are truly ours. And to understand as well that your subconscious mind always knows exactly what you want. So even if you don't affirm for this specific thing that you want, your subconscious mind is still like, but you keep your thought process. And so say you're manifesting for a specific person, and you decide to yourself, you know what, I think I'm just not going to manifest, I'm not going to affirm for their name, I'm going to leave their name out for a while, and I'm just going to go into my self-concept about a relationship, and I keep my thought process on being loved and being chosen, and all of these thoughts that we would have if we were in a relationship. Your subconscious mind knows the exact person that you want in this relationship, and so it's always going to seek out that person. There's an example of this in breaking The Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I know I talk a lot about Dr. Joe Dispenza, but I love his content. And there was a story in it where there was a woman that had $56,000 in debt, and she was stressed, she was worried, she didn't know what she was going to do. She found Dr. Joe Dispenza, she started meditating really just to kind of, I suppose, relieve her stress more so than anything. I don't even think that she was actually affirming for the amount that she needed, but however, she thought to herself, well, if I am going to be somebody who is rich and has enough money, I have to have a thought process that is going to be on being rich. And this is what we're doing when we get into conscious manifesting, because we are manifesting to maintain and sustain. We are not sitting there and affirming for one thing over and over and over and over again just to get the thing and then let it go, because we'll never be satisfied like that. It's like is it Abraham Maslow, the hierarchy of needs? And you get to the top, you're always going to be looking for more, because you're never satisfied, and you are only never satisfied when you cannot find the satisfaction within yourself. You're always seeking outside for validation. And so really, when we get into conscious manifesting, we should be understanding it from that point of view. We're elevating our consciousness, we're elevating ourselves by keeping our thoughts on what it is that we want. But back to what I was saying about that woman. So she decided then that because she wanted to keep her mind on being rich, she would never buy lotto tickets or things like that, because she was always worried about having enough money, which is, we all can kind of fall into that when we are worried about paying bills and that. But however, this particular day she was feeling good within herself, and she decided that she would buy a lotto ticket. She went into a gas station and a petrol station and bought a lotto ticket, $3 or whatever it was, I think. And her idea was that she had been practicing for a few weeks the thought process of being somebody who was rich. And when she went in, she said, okay, well, if I'm somebody who's rich, I think I'll buy the lotto ticket at the desk. And she bought the lotto ticket, and she forgot all about it. She went home. I think it was her husband that actually found the lotto ticket in the bag that she had. There was food in there or whatever that she brought home. She was out cleaning her car, I think, as the story goes. I don't have the book with me, but I read it recently. And he had the ticket and he checked it on the television or whatever, and it turned out that she won. And what do you think she won? She won $56,000 exactly. Why? Because her subconscious mind knew the exact amount of money that she needed, the exact amount of money that she was stressing over. And she may not even have been sitting down and actually affirming for that exact amount, but she kept her thought process on somebody who was being rich. And this is what we're doing when we get into conscious manifesting. So there's so many opinions up there, and there's so many different versions of how everybody's manifesting this, that, and the other. But all we have to do is keep our mind on the person, the identity that we are as somebody who has what we want. And your subconscious mind is going to seek out ways to bring it to you, because it can be no other way. This woman was keeping her thought process on being rich, so her subconscious mind had to look for ways to bring into her reality what she was practicing. She was identifying as somebody as being rich, and because she had this worrisome idea that she needed this $56,000 because that was what her debt was, and she had to get it paid, the subconscious mind looked for ways to bring it into her reality. Now, maybe if she had been worrying about more, she would have got more, but because this was the exact amount that she was worrying about, and when she started to change her mindset, which is what we're doing in a reality, in conscious manifesting, we're becoming conscious of our thoughts. We are becoming conscious of the mindset of who it is that we want to be identifying as the person who has what they want. And so if you're manifesting for a specific person, what are the thoughts that you would be having if you were already in a relationship with this specific person? These are the thoughts that you want to be keeping your mind on throughout the day. Yes, you can sit down then and meditate on specific affirmations. It's the same for money. If you are manifesting for a specific amount of money, who are you every day when you wake up? Who is the person who is rich? Who is the person who has the money that they want? What do they do? What thoughts do you think that you would be having if you had the exact amount of money that you wanted? If you knew that you were financially free, what thoughts would you be having every single day when you got up out of bed? And this is what conscious manifesting is all about. And I think there is a false perception when we get into conscious manifesting, of the idea that everything has to be so instant just because we know now that we're conscious of our thoughts, and that's not the case. Like just because we're conscious of our thoughts, it doesn't mean that we're gonna affirm for a brand new car and in 5 minutes it's going to show up on our doorstep. That's not the way it is. We affirm for the person we are who has that brand new car. So we start thinking about ourselves driving the new car. We start thinking about the interior of the new car. We start thinking about the thought process that we would be having about the car. Well, I'm looking forward to being able to drive to wherever I want. I am looking forward to being able to enjoy the experience of driving this brand new car. Everything that having a car entails already. It's like, I remember a story. I don't know, well, you probably do know him, Conor McGregor, the Irish, what is he again? Martial arts. I should know I'm Irish, but yeah, I remember reading a story about him, and he was, before he got into the martial arts, he was driving his girlfriend's car. It was like an old car and a small car, and it was just an old car like that. It wasn't rich or anything, and he was actually on the social, and he was in the car. I remember reading the story about him saying that he was in the car driving to pick up his social, and he was imagining that he was driving this big, probably Bentley or whatever he was thinking he was driving, as this rich person. And look at him now, he's fabulously wealthy and successful, and but he imagined it first. He was thinking in his mind, what would the thought process be if I was this person who was actually in this rich car instead of the car that I'm in, and not going down to collect the social or whatever. I was having more money than what the social was providing, and that was his thought process. And then he ended up manifest. He became that person that he was keeping his mind on, and that's what conscious manifesting is. Yes, we can sit down and we can affirm for what it is that we want, but how are we ever going to be satisfied with manifesting a desire just by using affirmations to manifest that desire? Because when that desire comes, we're always going to be looking for more, because we didn't not work on, but we want to be like building our mindset up and telling ourselves of how worthy and deserving we are and having this desire. We have to be waking up every day and identifying as this person who has it. So if I'm waking up as a millionaire every day, I'm waking up and I am telling myself that I am rich. And I'm not just actually telling myself that I am rich. I'm sitting there and I'm having thoughts about, oh God, I'm so wealthy. I'm just so happy that I have a roof over my head, and I am so happy that I can buy whatever I want. I wonder what I'll buy. These type of things, I wonder what I'll buy for dinner. I can buy anything I want for dinner. I might go out for dinner maybe. These type of ideas, these are the ideas that are these type of thoughts that we want to be having throughout our day. And if we even have the money to take ourselves out to dinner, then why not do that? Treat ourselves as well too, and continue with this thought process. And then when we sit down, we can take 10 or 15 minutes to sit down and affirm for exactly what we want, especially when we are manifesting for specific desires. But we want to be coming from the place that we are identifying as it, like building that whole image in our mind first, and actually being that person in our mind first. Because then when we get the desire, well, of course the desire will inevitably come as we do that anyway, but when we get the desire, we won't be thinking about it not satisfying us, in the way that, say, we get a desire, we don't think that we're worthy and deserving of it. If we haven't worked on our mindset, we will get the desire, and our subconscious mind will start to look for ways that our desire will actually irritate us. And if we work on our mindset and we identify as this person who lives as this person who has that desire, we are going to enjoy the desire so much more. And this is what I mean when I say that it comes in the most beautiful way as well too, because you identify as this person, it'll come in this most beautiful way to you, that you will actually be looking at it and thinking, I'm so glad I had that time to, build my mindset. I'm so glad that it worked out the way that it did in that way, because if it had to come when I didn't have my mindset right, I would have lost it again. Or, it'll be these kind of ways, and you'd be thinking to yourself that it all worked out the exact way it's supposed to work out for me, because we're all on different journeys. So I just wanted to make a video on that. Don't ever listen to anybody else's opinions, because it's not real, it's not facts. We are all just speaking from our own experience in life. We are all just speaking from our own perception of how we have learned things, and how we are still learning things as well too, because remember, everybody's mind changes. Change is the only constant. And this is, it's not even to discredit if you're manifesting relationships and specific people. It's not even to discredit relationships, coaches and things like that, but everybody changes their mind all the time. Behaviors change all the time. And so what an opinion is out there about how men act or how women act is just an opinion. It's not even real. So don't ever listen to what anybody else's opinions are in society overall. Just listen to your own opinion. And if it's coming from true understanding of what you want, then it's real. Anything that's coming from all bliss, all love, all joy, all abundance, all truth is true for you, and that's the only thing that you need to listen to. So I hope this video encouraged somebody along the way. Like and subscribe if you wish, and I will chat to you soon.